of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, and also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I'm Bill Rubin from Chicago Jewish Funerals. I would ask if you have a cellular device to please turn it to the off position. Officiating our service today from Congregation BJBE will be Rabbi Adam Wright and Cantor Kevin McKenzie.
To the immediate mourners, to Ron, to Sam, Carly, Talia, Rebecca, Kathy, and Stephen. To each and every one of you, on Wednesday, you allowed me into the most sacred moments a family can share. When your wife, your mom, your sister was on the verge of leaving this world and entering into a new realm. Soon to be free from the body that had turned against her. As I said to you on that day, our rabbis tell us that death at its worst is a perfect sleep. In the years your mom has been fighting, she deserves the perfect rest. This is a paradox, this moment. It was terrifying and also sacred. I witnessed all of your souls permeating with such love and devotion to Pam. And I was blessed to learn so much about her. She was energetic, loving, categorically against watching television, embodied the stranger, the force of nature. And then yesterday, we sat right outside, right at this table, and I got to learn even more. Each of you shared your own stories, your own memories, your own pieces of her. And Ron, I asked you about the time that you met her. And it seemed to me it was a modern day story of the Odyssey. Everything had to work out. Every timetable, every connection, every friend, the dormitory, the fire. I don't know if I believe in Besheret because that nullifies the Torah. But just maybe God was trying to tell both of you something. You spoke about a partner who challenged you, who pushed you, who convinced you to move to California and eventually come back here. She pushed you to invent something that I use and millions of families have used when we welcome new little babies into this world. And I listened to you describe your life together, what marriage is supposed to be. Not simply two people who love one another, but two people who would make one another grow. And yesterday, we also talked about the diagnosis, about her fight, about Sunrise Mondays, about a woman who did everything she possibly could not to give 1 inch to this disease. Our conversation yesterday was beautiful. It was painful, it was honest, and it was also heartfelt. And there's one part that has stayed with me, is that she dreamed of becoming a grandmother. And Bezrat Hashem, God willing, and Carly, 23 weeks from now, she will be in the heavens above. And I can't imagine the sadness you are going to face when her tangible present isn't there. But a midrash teaches us that when babies come into this world, they take, and they seize. And just maybe this is a way of your mom saying, we're ready to go and have a new day. But there's one thing I want to tell you, is that even though your mom was against you guys watching TV, you had to see the movies, you had to read the books first. I have a funny feeling she would have bent on this one with your grandchildren. And something else, you guys mentioned that she fought her way through quicksand trying to get there. And that is where I want to turn to hear, before we hear from so many people who loved her. We can state the fact that life is beautiful. Life is also incredibly hard. And sometimes, whether we want to or not, we find ourselves in the quicksand. So to Kathy, to Ron, Talia, Rebecca, Sam, I want you all to know something. Everyone here, we are going to help you get through this quicksand. Because one of the things we know about quicksand is that sometimes you cannot pull yourself out alone. And sometimes you need someone standing beside you. Someone who has been there before. Someone who knows where to put their feet. Someone who can take your hand and remind you that there is solid ground ahead. Whether it's at Kol Shabbat, at BJBE, prayer, holding a Torah whenever you need to feel God's oneness. And laying to Phil and Sam, to feel that connection of God's unconditional love, to give you the strength to find your path. I know today is a celebration of life. It is. But celebrating her life also means caring for the people she loved the most. And so this afternoon, we begin by doing exactly that. We surround you, we remember her, we tell her stories, we laugh when we can, we cry when we need to. And slowly, we help one another find our way through quicksand. And there's something especially meaningful that we are saying goodbye to her during the month of Elul. And this is the month that teaches us to look inward, to take stock of our lives, to think about who we are, where we have fallen short, and the ability we have to become. Because when someone we love dies, one of the greatest ways we honor them as Jews is not simply remembering how they lived. It is by allowing their life to change the way that we live. And Elul reminds us that as long as we are here, we can do something about that. Pam's legacy can be this, that a family she loves so deeply becomes even closer because she lived. If it's possible, even with more loving, with more patience, more willing to listen to one another, cracking jokes. And if I must say, if there is a will, there is a way. And that too is how we keep somebody alive. We take the love they gave us and become better at giving it to one another. May her memory forever be a blessing.
bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Let me love. Let me love, and I shall make your name great. And all shall praise your name. Let me love to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim. Let me love.
Kathy.
6 weeks ago, Ron and Pami sat Mitch and me down at the hospital and told us that Pami, who I had always believed would live to be at least 80, then 70, would not live that long. After holding it together in that room, Mitch and I walked out and lost it, sobbing in each other's arms. A couple of nights later, I spent the entire night writing Pami a letter. A few days later, I read it to her. We laughed and we cried. When I finished, she looked at me and said, "Please, read that at my funeral." That was not the intent. Towards the end of her life, she asked me to read it to her again, so she could edit her own eulogy. Only Pami. So, although this letter was never intended for that, here it is. But before I begin, a little history. Pami was the youngest of 5. Michael, Lori, Stephen, me, and then baby Pami. She grew up in Skokie and went to Evanston High School. And now the letter, and one more thing about the letter. When I read it to her and we laughed and cried, and I went back, after we edited it, it was 30 minutes long. And so I read it to her a third time, and I said, "I've got to cut some things out." And she said no, but I did. I cut things out. So here's a letter to Pami. Dear Pami, there are so many things I wish I could say, and somehow words don't feel like enough. You have been such an important part of my life. We shared so much together. Some of my happiest memories are of growing up with you. I don't remember a time when you and I didn't share a room. At first it was you, me, and Lori, until Lori, being the oldest, moved to her own room. Then it was the 2 of us until I went to college. Even when my own room was offered to me, I never wanted it. I loved sharing a room with you. When you were younger, every night we would lay in bed, often in the same twin bed, never ever with pillows, and I would tell you a story. As you got older, along with the stories, we would talk about our friends and the many crushes and boyfriends we had. Your marriage at age 5 to Benji Miller. And of course, your first real boyfriend, Ricky Kane. We talked late into the night, laughed about things only sisters could understand, and learned how to grow up side by side. I loved having you trailing me everywhere. Do you remember our plays when we would perform with the neighborhood kids? Our favorite was Sound and Music. I was always Captain Von Trapp, and you were the littlest, cutest daughter, Gretel Von Trapp. We threw ourselves into those performances as if we were really on stage. I could still see her sweet face and hear our laughter. And you could see little Gretel. Anyway, and then there was Aver Street, our whole world when we were kids. Every evening, as soon as we wolfed down our dinners, we'd race outside to meet all the neighborhood kids. Some nights we played bombardment in the street, other nights it was cops and robbers. We ran, laughed, and played until it was too dark to see. Then we'd hear Mom calling us, and we'd reluctantly head inside, knowing we'd do it all again the next day. At the time, it just felt like childhood. But now I realize those evenings on Avers were some of the greatest adventures of our lives. I can't help but laugh when I think about the day we were playing Chinese jump rope in the front yard. Out of nowhere, a man walked by, picked up little Pami, and started walking away with you. I was absolutely certain you were being kidnapped. I ran into the house screaming, "They've got Pami, they've got Pami." Dad came charging out of the house in nothing but his underwear, ready to rescue you. As it turned out, there was no kidnapping at all. It was just a neighbor I didn't recognize. Looking back now, it reminds me of how fiercely we loved and looked out for one another, even as little kids. Then there was our neighborhood gang, the Cool Cats. The others were the Kumi Lemos. I still remember the day we got into a scuffle with some other kids. One of them threw a big rock that hit you in the face. Seeing you hurt lit a fire in me. I chased that boy that we didn't know all the way to his house and into his room. I pounded him until his parents finally pulled me away. I would have done anything to protect you. I can still picture our family vacations in that old station wagon. All 5 of us squeezed together with no air conditioning, trying to stay comfortable in the summer heat. Dad always seemed to get lost, and somehow that became part of the adventure. I can still hear Lori and me singing in the back seat, our favorites, "Where Have All the Flowers Gone?" "Scarlet Ribbon," and "Jet Airplane." We thought Lori had a voice of an angel. Those years were filled with the wonderful chaos that comes with a big family. I smile when I think about the times Dad would pay you a quarter to spy on Mitch and me. You and Karen Rosen would take your jobs very seriously, hiding under the trampoline, hoping to catch a glimpse of Mitch and me sharing a kiss on top of the trampoline. It makes me laugh now thinking about how funny and innocent those days were. Then came college, which I know we're going to talk about this over and over. I know you weren't especially excited about going away to the University of Illinois, and you were even less excited about joining a sorority. But I'm so glad you joined AFI. I think you are so grateful as well because it brought you so many lifelong friends. And then life worked one of his little miracles. When the Sammy house fire happened and the fraternity brothers stayed at AFI, you and Ron truly connected and he became the love of your life. Ron was the greatest gift to come from an unexpected turn of events. And I ended up getting a fantastic brother-in-law. He loves you completely, stood by you through everything. I've always smiled at another coincidence. While our other siblings married Michiganos and are Michiganos themselves, you and I both ended up marrying nice, brilliant, Jewish, handsome engineers. Some of my favorite memories of the camping trips our 2 families took together. 8 kids between us, tents, campfires, and endless laughter. Mitch flipping pancakes, and Ron pulling out his guitar and singing hilarious songs about the Brownstein girls. We laughed until our sides ached. We loved visiting you when we lived in Menlo Park, seeing your beautiful life on the West Coast. We loved your month-long visits to Illinois. Toys everywhere, meals to feed an army, kids running in and out, Eli, the dog, watching over baby Rebecca, Sam stealing candy from the Jaws candy jar and sneaking it up to the room he shared with David and Bradley, and enough laughter to fill a room. We didn't realize how precious those ordinary days were. When I look at your beautiful children, I see so much of you. Rebecca, Talia, Carly, and Sam are extraordinary children. and I'm in awe of the amazing, strong people they've become. Their kindness, strength, and character reflect the love, guidance, and values you and Ron gave them. I hope they always know how deeply they are loved and how much they meant to you and to all of us. We have shared laughter, tears, celebrations, and countless memories that I will carry with me forever. No matter where life took us, you have always been my sister and best friend. And that's a bond that nothing, not even death, can ever erase. I want you to know how deeply I love you. It's almost over. One of the greatest gifts of our relationship was that there was never jealousy between us. I always wanted you to succeed in everything you did, and you were always so proud of me. You were always thinking about other people, and you would often bring me a gift because you saw something and knew it was just perfect for me. Those thoughtful little gestures showed how well you knew me and how much you cared. And I'll always chuckle about how much you loved my curly hair, even when I was constantly fighting with it. You saw beauty in so many things. One of my most treasured memories is watching you enjoy our pond. It was one of your favorite things to do. You would come over almost every day with a different friend, Karen, Jenny, Marla, and others. And you'd all get in the water and shred for hours talking nonstop. I still laugh when I think about it. I have no idea how you could possibly had that much to talk about, but somehow the conversations never ended. You were usually just in your bra and underwear, completely carefree and comfortable, enjoying the sunshine, the water, and the company of your friends. When I was home, I would come outside just to say hello or sit and talk with you guys for a little while. Other times, I would simply watch from inside my house and admire you all. There was something so peaceful and joyful about seeing you there. This summer, I find myself looking out my window at the pond, expecting to see you there, but you're not, and it breaks my heart. That empty spot in the water is a reminder how much you filled my life with your presence. I will always treasure the image of you in that pond. As you face this part of your journey, I hope you feel surrounded by love, by that love. You are not defined by your cancer. You're defined by your generosity, your kindness, your courage, and the beautiful memories you've created with the people who love you. I will always remember you, not for these difficult days, but for your big heart, your smile, your laughter. Though saying goodbye breaks my heart, I want you to know it's been one of the greatest blessings of my life to be your big sister.
I was asked today to read this beautiful poem called You Don't Move On. That was a request by Pam. You don't move on, but you must move on with, you must shake hands with grief. Welcome her in, but she lives with you now. Pull a chair at the table and offer her comfort. She is not the monster your first thought her to be. She is love. She will walk with you now, peacefully, if you let her. I'm Michelle Worth, Pam's sister-in-law. I was very fortunate to be able to spend 40 years of my life with Pam. This summer was extra special, being able to be by her side. Last Thursday, I read this letter to Pam. I know she heard me because she gave me a little smile. I think of you all the time, and I want to tell you what's in my heart. When you entered the Worth family, you brought so much warmth, kindness, and love with you. You have a special way of making people feel welcome, cared for, and valued. Pam, you are a true powerhouse. Your strength, determination, and incredible spirit have always inspired me. You have faced life challenges with courage and grace, and you've shown everyone around you what resilience looks like. I want to know how deeply you are loved. Your strength and love have left a lasting mark on everyone who knows you. The love you have given will continue to live on in your family and in the hearts of all of us who have been blessed by your life. Thank you for being the remarkable woman you are. It has been an honor to know you, to love you, and to call you my sister. I will always carry your courage, your laughter, and your love with me always. Forever my hero.
I want to welcome Pam's kids, Carly, Talia, Rebecca, and Sam, who will come up together.
We've been watching home videos this week, and I was reminded not only of how vibrant my mom always was, but also how fiercely she protected us. I was always labeled a shy kid, and I remember anytime someone would say I'm shy, my mom would say, "No, she's not. She's just slow to warm." She was telling people to have patience with me and reminding me that I'm worth their patience. When I was in a traditional preschool, I was having a hard time making friends, so she pulled me out and enrolled me in a preschool run by a woman with long gray hair and a travel harp. Preschool involved hikes all around the Bay Area and learning which flowers we could eat or turn into tea. I thrived in this environment. My mom always knew exactly what I needed before I did. This carried on through my entire life, with my mom always showing up physically in New Orleans, Spain, or California, and for hours over the phone when I needed her for support or just had some good gossip. Lucas can attest, I literally talked to her for 3 hours a day. My mom never faltered from being exactly herself. In my teenage years, that embarrassed me so much. When the show Gossip Girl came out in the fall of my 8th grade, my friends and I were so excited to watch this new racy-looking show. My mom not only made me read the entire Gossip Girl book series before I was allowed to watch the show, but she also forced me to watch each episode on the couch right next to her so that she could pause for reflection moments when Blair was being a bee because she would never actually say the swear word, or Serena was experimenting with drugs. When I would get in trouble for something, my mom wouldn't yell at me or ground me like a normal mom. She would instead send me on a walk and make me write her a letter reflecting on what happened and how we can move forward. She taught me to be a deep thinker and have endless love and patience for myself, no matter what it was that I did. My mom had a gift for opening people up. She'd visit me wherever I was living and invite my friends to dinner. Somehow the night always ended in them crying to her after having spilled their entire life stories. I now have a license in California to get paid to do that, but my mom happily did the same work pro bono. I know I have so much of her in me. I also force my friends to walk a little too far just to get a smoothie, and I'm constantly on long catch-up phone calls with my friends from all over. I fell back in love with her favorite state of California over the last 7 years, and now that I'm back in Chicago, I'm sure I won't shut up about how much I need to get back to California just like she did. I know I'm going to be an amazing mom because of what she modeled for me, and I'm so grateful for the constant pouring out of light and love that she exuded. I love you forever, Mom.
You don't get to choose your mom, but boy, did we get lucky. It feels impossible to put into words just how much my mom meant to me. She was truly incredible. I know all of you have your own Pami stories, so rather than try to capture all of her, I'm going to share some of the behind-the-scenes moments people didn't always get to see. We were woken up every morning with a song and a dance. She would belt, "Get up, get up, get up, get up, don't miss the bus," even though she literally never actually made us take the bus because she wanted to spend as much time with us as possible. And then, inevitably, when I forgot my homework, she would, without hesitation, come right back to school to drop it off. My mom had an incredible ability to meet people where they were. If the circumstances weren't working, she would just change them. My mom taught me that anything was possible, that you control your own story. She always told me that while Sam was writing books, Carly was reading books, and I was, well, eating books. So what did my mom do? She made sure all my books were board books, so I didn't eat the paper. She made homemade Play-Doh so I could eat it. She filled buckets in the front yard with slippery slop so I could sit in it and rub it all over my body. And when it came time for me to go to preschool, she realized I wasn't quite ready, given the eating the books part, so she created Tiny Trucks, a flourishing business that has impacted thousands of families in the last 30 years. She always let me learn by doing, even if it meant making a mess or failing. When I asked what would happen if we didn't put a lid on the blender, we tested it out. When carrots splattered all over the ceiling, we laughed and came up with a creative way to get them off. I didn't know it at the time, but what she was really teaching me was that there was nothing wrong with being exactly who I was. She never tried to make me fit into the world. She just kept finding ways to make the world fit me. Even when things didn't go my way, my mom always taught me to make the most of the situation, embrace the wonder of the world, and live life with the enthusiasm she exuded. When I didn't make a team or get a job I really wanted, she encouraged me to make the most of what I did get. People were, and still are, often confused by how I can approach my second, third, or sometimes last choice with so much enthusiasm. It's because of my mom. She taught me that disappointment didn't have to be the end of the story, to just keep showing up and giving what I have. My mom always dreamed of being a grandma. She had a way with kids that was amazing to watch. After I left for college, I came home for a few days and the doorbell rang. It was two little girls I had never met, clutching a book and asking for Miss Pam. I was so confused until my mom came bounding down the stairs and headed straight to the swinging bench, snuggling our two neighbors into her lap and dynamically reading to them. I learned quickly that this happened often, not just with these two girls, but with countless other kids in the neighborhood and beyond. While she didn't get the chance to meet our own grandkids, we got to see a sliver of what that would have looked like through those moments. I feel so lucky to know exactly what kind of grandma she would have been, and I'm so sad that we don't get to watch it happen. My mom believed in the small interactions. She was always finding something that would make our day and leaving it on our beds with a note that said, "Because I love you." We both couldn't stand being alone or sitting in silence, and we were perfect partners in crime for the 5-minute phone calls in the in-between. Walking to the grocery store, call mom. Commuting to work before anyone is awake, call mom. We talked about everything and nothing at all, and I feel so grateful for all those in-between moments with her. I think those are the moments I'm going to miss the most. The instinct to pick up my phone because I have 3 minutes, or because something funny happened, or because absolutely nothing happened and I just want to hear her voice. There are so many moments my mom didn't get to have with us, and it all feels so incredibly unfair. Already, I have so many times thought, I need to tell mom this, or snapped a picture to send to her. And there are so many moments ahead of us when I know I will look for her. But being the always thinking ahead type she was, she left us with the greatest gift of all. She gave us all of you. She raised a tight-knit family that we can lean on. She married my dad, who is tied with my mom for best person I know. Sorry, Jonah. And she built a community this big that I know will be here to help us pick up all the pieces. My mom was extraordinary for all the big things. The birthday parties she would throw, the trips she would take us on, and planning our wedding in just 3 months to make sure she was healthy enough to be there. But she was also extraordinary for all the small things. Mom, I will forever think of you and all the things, big and small. I will think of you when the sun rises, when I hear children playing, when I have 3 minutes left in the car, and when I start a family of my own. And I hope that for the rest of my life and all those moments, I can give people even a fraction of what you gave me. While I was writing this, I was trying to think of an overarching theme, and I kept coming up short. My mom loomed so large in my life, I don't even know where to begin. I keep on thinking of all the parts of my life that I will feel her missing. It will be in every sunrise, every sunset, every walk, every phone call, every time I'm up teaching in front of a classroom, shopping for new clothes, gossiping, or biking, or swimming, or doing math in my head, which I am very bad at, but my mom was so good at. She would always swim laps and just do math in her head the entire time. I will think of her when I'm playing Gin Rummy 500, and even if I'm beating my friends, I'll be thinking about how she would always beat me when we played. A few years ago, I saw this video of a little girl telling her dad that he was a zoomer arounder and she was a layer arounder, and I immediately sent it to my mom. She laughed so hard at it and sent it to all of her friends saying that it was me and her. My mom always needed to be doing something and couldn't understand when I just wanted to lay around. When I was a kid, she would always wake up before dawn, get a million things done, and then wake me up with the most energetic smile and song, which I was consistently grumpy and annoyed at. My mom had such a zest for life, a boundless energy to do activities and adventures just because she wanted to. When I started at Walden Elementary School, my mom wanted a way to encourage me and my friends to get outside and explore more of what the nature of the North Shore had to offer. I think she was missing California a bit. She created something she called the Girls Adventure Club, where she would take me and any girl in my grade who wanted to join on an adventure once a month. We did everything from swimming at Lake Michigan to snowshoeing to holding snakes at the Heller Nature Center. And when all of my siblings and my friends started going to camp, my mom would take me to what she called Camp Pam, where we would go on a new adventure every day, exploring the city and always playing. She had a way of making things that were kind of mundane feel really special. She approached life in a way that made it feel like everything was a new adventure waiting to be explored. To my mom, strangers were friends she hadn't met yet. Whether it was an acquaintance she met briefly or her childhood best friend, she valued every relationship in her life. She taught me the importance of friendship and community and keeping in touch with the people close to me from every walk of life. She taught me when to know it's okay to let go and how to know when to hold on, and that friends can be family too. Whenever my mom and I would go out in public together, we would tend to run into someone who knew and loved her. If they hadn't seen me in a while, they would always comment on how much we looked alike. I feel so lucky that I will always see my mom every time I look in the mirror. My mom was always there for me to the extreme. She proofread every email I sent and every essay I wrote. She drove me to school every day and packed me lunch every day, even though they were usually the worst lunch out of all my friends, like an unpeeled full carrot wrapped in tinfoil and her famous mush in a bag. Even though I was the youngest child, she still went to every open house and parent-teacher conference and every dance show and cross-country meet. My mom was even there for me in my sleep. When I was a kid and had nightmares, I would ask her what I should dream about instead, and she would come up with something silly like unicorns on cotton candy clouds. She approached my fears with a sense of inventiveness and play that I still try to embody. If that didn't work out, she would always let me crawl into her bed and hold her hand until I fell asleep. I got to hold her hand when she fell asleep for the last time. My mom was always talking on the phone. I was annoyed about it when I was little, but as an adult, it was great because it meant she was always talking on the phone, chatting with me. I would call her for every little thing. The conversation at some point would lull and she would say, okay, trying to get off the phone. And I would say, wait, I have 5 more minutes of my walk. I want to keep talking. And she would always say, of course. Even during the last 5 years, as she was in chemo and battling her cancer, my tiniest complaint was never too small for her to listen to. My mom raised us all to not be picky eaters, to always read the book before watching the movie, and that if you talk right after you blow out the birthday candles, you have to eat the first bite of cake under the table. She created an open house for all of my friends to be comfortable playing and getting creative, and she would play with us, judging our bake-offs, our dance parties, and our pool handstands. As adults, she would always join my friends to gossip and give life advice when needed. I always thought my mom was the ultimate mom. She even taught other moms how to mom. Mom, I'm so afraid of trying to encapsulate your essence in such a short speech. I don't want to miss something so essential or necessary about you. Writing this felt too big. You were so big. Saying I'm going to miss you doesn't feel like enough, but I know that I'm going to carry you wherever I go, and I will find you in everything. I love you.
Holy S, Rebecca. That was some good S. My mom taught us to live and love fearlessly. Today is heavy. But F it, it's time. My mom's name is Pam, and my name is Sam, which rhymes with Pam, Pam, Sam, Sam, Pam. And some people think it's kind of funny when my mom, especially when my mom says that she didn't realize that our names were going to rhyme. She didn't realize that Sam rhymed with Pam, which kind of makes sense because Pamela and Samuel, Arca Shmuel, Pamela, Samuel, doesn't really rhyme. Although over the course of my first few years, it became Samuel, Pamuel, and Pamela, Samla, and Pam, Sam, Sam, Pam. But I'd like to think Pamela Sue Brownstein Worth knows exactly what she's doing, even as we speak. Every day at Pami Treks, or Tiny Treks, begins with a song, and today is no different. Fair warning, audience participation required. Welcome to the Pam Worth experience. We're about to sing a song, guys. When the song says, if you're ready to explore, shout hooray, then you all shout hooray. Actually, if at any point the song says hooray, then you all shout hooray. Let's practice. If you're ready to explore, shout hooray. Hooray! Okay, that was okay, but hooray actually should be body movement as well. So we'll, hooray! 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 Great job. Okay, now for the full song. If you know it, sing along. Today is a Tiny Treks day. If you're ready to explore, shout hooray! Hooray! In rain or sun, we'll always have fun, 'cause today is a Tiny Treks day. Hooray! Hooray! Nice. There's no I in eulogy, but there is an E in I. There's also a Y, to remind us perhaps to ask why, and why again, until together we become wise. Or just the branches of a tree. Or just hoorays. Hooray! Hoorays. Hooray! It's funny how or means either, like one or the other. But in Hebrew it means light. Arabic and Aramaic also share the same root, nur. Maybe one or the other is the ether, and or means light in our language too. The tree branches wouldn't be branches at all if it weren't for the light that rains down each splashing sunrise. Nor can they grow without roots. 1 year ago, my mom sent me on an odyssey. It was one of many adventures she inspired, not the first and certainly not the last. There are many more to come. The odyssey ended on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, me holding hands with a stranger turned friend who had marched with Martin Luther King. Kid you not. We spoke and cried and laughed about life and death and the steps in between. We talked about my mother, her legacy, her fight, her force, her essence, her love. The stranger pointed far in the distance to the trees lining the pool. The roots are still alive, my friend whispered to me. Can you feel them? They can feel you. Every breath is a vibration, all our carbon a cycle. It took me a while to realize that me is just we upside down, and we are all trees in our own way. The tree cannot be alive if its roots aren't as well. If the tree is alive, its roots must be. Looking around at this massive sea of people, I see a thriving, growing tree. Okay, wait, an idea. Going to ask everyone to hold hands right now. No ends, everyone connected, every row, you can do it. Take a second. When you're ready, shut your eyes. Take a moment, arm in arm, hand in hand, and think of what Pamela Sue Worth means to you. Then, on the count of 3, try your best to pass that loving energy to the hand you're holding. 1, 2, 3. Can you feel it? Branches intertwined and planted with the wise. Our roots are still alive. That is reason for celebration. That is why Pam asked us all to wear colors and to be buried as a tree. Okay, open your eyes. If you're ready to explore, shout hooray! Hooray! Okay, you gotta keep holding hands though, because I'm really setting you up for the song that every Tiny Treks day ends with. My mom's favorite song. Please, everyone hold hands in my mother's memory and join in song. The more we get together, 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 the more we get together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Mira, Dina, Boss Evelyn, your aura lives among us. And today, we are thankful, in love. Today, we celebrate your light. Today, we celebrate your life.
wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. You belong with your love on your arm. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, go find a lover. Run away, let your heart be your guide. You deserve the deepest of cover. You belong in that home by and by. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me. Far away from your trouble and worry. You belong somewhere you feel free. You belong somewhere you feel free.
Marla.
Marla Eggert. I've been friends, Pamela and I have been the best of friends since we're 5 years old. I've probably been writing poems about that same amount of time, and as Kathy said, Pam very much enjoyed my poems and liked to edit them. Unfortunately, Pam, this one is just me. Dear Pamela, you knew I'd write a poem of which AI would have no part, because these words I've written come directly from my heart. Every silly secret, every deep belief, every struggle that we shared with each other brought us some relief. You made me think in ways that opened up my mind. Looking through your lens, I was not sure what I'd find. When we were told of your diagnosis, everything became a blur, but with Ron by your side, you would search for a cure. With a can-do attitude and every expert you could recruit, boundless energy and determination to give this disease the boot. You're an example of the highest magnitude with your smile, grace, and positive attitude. Instead of throwing in the towel and cowering in the night, your record fundraising for MMRF would continue the fight. I was far from the only one who benefited from your wise words. Young and old came to you, always knowing they would be heard. Throughout your life, your friends from every phase and stage, every person you would meet brought another chance to engage. You opened your heart in your home to friends and strangers too. Helping others was your love language and your favorite thing to do. You've touched countless people in so many different ways, accomplished more in hours than most others do in days. Your treks may be tiny, but the impact they made are vast. The way in which you touched others will forever last. I asked you to give me signs. I know exactly how it would come. And endless walks on a sandy beach in the Monday morning sun. A world without you in it is not one we want to face, but it's exactly because you are in it that it's become a better place. I love you.
Hi, I'm Karen Sutker. First of all, I'm honored to be speaking about Pam today. And as I look out in the crowd, I see all the colors and familiar faces, and I know Pam would talk to me about this funeral if she could, because she would really have loved this day, starting with our Sunrise Monday at the beach. I've been friends with Pam since college, our freshman year in 1980, and she was in my pledge class and has been one of my very best friends ever since. She wasn't your typical sorority girl, and I don't even know how she ended up joining a sorority, but I'm so glad she did. Because of that, she did end up meeting Ron, and Ron, you've been her biggest advocate throughout her whole life, especially these past 5 years. Anyway, she did things her own way, and she's always thinking of others and any charity act she can do. She really walked the walk. She didn't just talk. She was a gatherer of people for holidays, Jewish holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Passover. If somebody didn't have a place to go, whether they were Jewish or not, she'd invite them over for dinner at your house. Our AFI group had this thing called a soup swap, which Ron and Pam invented, and it was a way that she was the glue that held us all together, and we would join there every year, and everybody would make a soup, and literally that's what we would have. She was a connector of young and old. She loved being with people. She loved life and to teach, and she liked to connect you with you, you with you, whoever she could help in any way. That's what she loved to do the most. She got to know my children and their spouses and helped them through a lot of different things. But what's interesting, it wasn't just my children, it was probably every single person's child here. She has helped in one way or another, or she has gotten to know them, and she loved every minute of it. She just encouraged kids and loved being their mentor or tutor or teacher. She encouraged entrepreneurial businesses, as she had her own business in Tiny Tricks. She liked to dress in her own special way. She didn't care so much about style. Her style was basically, if it's comfortable, you wear it. In fact, her favorite place to shop was Costco. She would swear that the sweatpants and the sweatshirts were just like Lululemon or Fiore. She advocated for many different things while we were talking. Breastfeeding, nature, education. In fact, during COVID, she ran a kindergarten pod inside of her garage because she thought it was so important for people to have face-to-face contact. And her philosophy was basically, let the kids play. They don't need all these classes that you're sending them to. Let them play in the backyard. Take them to Heller Nature Center. Take them to the beach. She ran her own day camp, as Rebecca said, and everybody loved that. Even though her business was in mostly California, she did run the business from here, and it was just so incredible how it just grew and grew and grew. I was really proud of her for that. Even while getting her chemo and all of her struggles, all she wanted to do was help. In fact, at my dad's Shiva, she and Ron and Marla and Brian cleaned up the entire thing in the kitchen and put away all the food, and then she went to my mom's house and cleaned out her refrigerator and freezer and made room for all the food. I mean, that's just one example of what kind of person she was while she was getting chemo and having her own struggles. She also made time to go to the CPS Cragen Elementary School and help with the Selfless for Scott library there. I know she did that every Friday when she could. We would exercise for hours on end, and exercise and exercise and exercise. And what are we going to do today? Was it treading? Was it walking? Was it hiking? Was it biking? Was it cross-country skiing? We did everything. And every time while we were exercising, almost every one of her kids called while we were exercising. And she'd always be like, I'm exercising with Karen, is it important? But that just shows that she would have stopped anything to make sure it was not, if it was important, she would have stopped what she was doing. And she just loved you kids so much that she really would even stop her exercising for you. She loved treading, and she could tread and tread and tread. I think I'm kind of good at exercising, but Pam really just passed me right along. She would sit and tread with me for an hour, then someone else would meet her for an hour, then someone else would meet her for an hour. And the place she especially loved was at Kathy and Mitch's pond. And by the way, the things we discussed were world peace. We solved it. Pam was very opinionated. I'm sure we've all gotten glimpses of what she firmly believed in. But you know what? It was really only if you asked. I asked her all the time for her opinion. She was so smart, which is one of the reasons that I asked her for her opinion all the time. While I was just reading books, fictional books, she would be listening to podcasts and learning about every single thing you can think of, from education to drugs to healthy eating, whatever it was, she had the answer to. She loved to explore. She would explore different trails in Illinois that Alan and Ron and I sometimes, we all went together in our area, hiking, biking, that Lake Geneva Loop. You know, we walked, I think it was 22 miles around the whole Lake Geneva Loop. We also biked it. She was really the best friend a person could have. I could tell her anything and I knew it would not go anywhere but the pool or our bike ride or our hike. As I said, she loved you kids dearly and her extended family so much. Ron, she loved you so much, really. You were her heart. I was lucky that I did get to visit Ron and Pam in North Carolina, where we just made it to that gas station because we almost ran out of gas. And also to Menlo Park with all you kids running around. I mean, that was really a sight to see. I am lucky to have been best friends with her for 46 years, to have her by my side, to hear her parental advice. I can't see what I wrote. Her parental advice, her dreams, and I've already wanted to call her so many times this weekend just to talk to her. I will miss my best friend, who I will always love. And Worth family, I will always be there for you.
First of all, I have to say, when we had to estimate how many people were going to be here, I said there's going to be a heck of a lot more than 300, and not everybody believed me. But I can see there's a heck of a lot of people out there just paying homage to my dear wife. And I thank you all for being here. This is the saddest day of my life. And this is the most grateful day of my life. I want to start off with a love story. It all began by meeting a cute girl named Pam from Skevinston at Cam's Bar in Champaign, Illinois. We were both freshmen. We were both miserable. It was the girl that you were so glad to meet, but didn't get her number and wondered when you would connect again. Fast forward to sophomore year, February 9th, 1982. I came home from my physics exam at 8 p.m. to find Sammy's, my fraternity house, on fire. Everything was gone. Clothes, books, birds. They told me that everyone was at the sorority down the street. I walked in a daze to AE5. What the heck happened? I didn't know that my life was about to reboot. I knew almost no one at AE5, and timidly I knocked on the door. I was greeted by a bunch of excited people. I didn't realize that I was the last person accounted for after the fire. My friend Danny was there and brought me to his friend Lauren, who had introduced me to her roommate, Pam. We immediately smiled at each other as if we knew that one day we would meet again. Pam lent me her Evanston tennis sweatshirt. It would become my only clean piece of clothing that I would wear all the time. Our friendship blossomed over the next year with me dragging my feet on making a move. In the fall of our junior year, Pam asked me to the AE5 barn dance, and the next thing we knew, we were rolling in the hay. It especially hit me that this was the girl for me when we went on a date to Great America. We stopped at McDonald's for lunch, not for the cheese quarter pounders because Pam was not a fan, but to get discounted tickets. And they gave us each $5 coupons called Fun Bucks. We read the fine print and realized there was no limit to the use of the Fun Bucks. So simultaneously, we had the same idea. Together, we went dumpster diving behind Mickey D's and found over $200 worth of Fun Bucks. Our sense of adventure, cunning thriftiness, and complete lack of class made us realize we were the perfect match. After graduating, I went off to North Carolina for a job at IBM, and Pam said, "There is no effing way that I'm moving with you without a ring." Of course, she didn't drop the F-bomb, but she did it in her own way, which probably all of us here know what it looks like. We visit each other at least once a month. The long distance was a strain, and I knew what she wanted, and deep down what I wanted, but I wasn't ready. So I called my mom. She said very wisely, "Can you see your life without Pam?" The next weekend, I flew to Chicago to meet Bunny Levine to buy a ring. We were engaged on February 13th. I made sure I did it before midnight because I thought it was too cliche to get engaged on Valentine's Day. I'm sure that most people kiss and dance, but Pam was literally jumping on my bed in excitement for hours. Pam flourished in North Carolina. My best friends became her best friends. She got her first job teaching kindergarten to underprivileged kids in Charlotte. She thrived and they loved her. Teacher Pam was born. We were married in Chicago and brought a whole caravan of our North Carolina crew with us to join our oldest and dearest friends. In our classic unserious nature, we had a completely contagious laughing attack during the ceremony under the chuppah. Another confirmation that we were meant for each other. We moved back to Chicago in 1987. Pam loved her new teaching job. I was miserable in my new job. After months of Pam begging me to find something I liked, we picked up and moved to California for me to start grad school at Stanford. We moved to California and we needed a place to stay for just a few weeks. To Pam, it was a no-brainer. Let's just call our new friends Tom and Julie in San Francisco. They'll put us up for a month. Pam had the insight that people inherently want to share. Something I was always too shy to do. Tom and Julie jumped on that opportunity, and we quickly became besties as they let us call their place on Ripley Street home. We eventually found our own place in Menlo Park, and Pam became the family magnet. When an opening happened in our little cul-de-sac, Pam would scare away the people without kids touring the units and embrace any young family in true Pam saleswoman fashion. She orchestrated a meal rotation so we could all help each other during the week. And most important of all, she orchestrated friendship and love. We fixed up our au pair with my business partner. We fixed up our dear next door neighbor, Seisha, with my dear office mate, Jim. They have all been married ever since. We even officiated in Seisha and Jim's wedding. Yes, Pam, as was already pointed out, was a connector savant. Much like some of you can solve a Rubik's Cube in minutes or play Tetris without a crash for hours, Pam could see a connection and act on it in a matter of seconds. I'm sure that each of you out there have at least one connection in your life that was originally orchestrated by Pam. Pam's first job in California was at the North Peninsula Jewish Day School. Within days, she was the talk of the school and became lifelong friends with the teachers and the parents. Our son Sam was born in 1991, and the next phase of our life was born, parenthood. Something Pam had been preparing for her whole life. Me, I was shell-shocked. But I was mentored and trained by the best partner ever. She taught me the importance of support and just showing up. Whether it be a baseball game, teacher conference, soccer game, dance recital, doctor appointment, those events were paramount overall. We still miss Chicago, and we spent our summers living with Kathy and Mitch at their house in Long Grove. One of those summers, I was doing a design job for Coleman, and Pam told me as we were schlepping Sam's car seat on a walk, "Why do you spend your day thinking of solutions to schlep a stupid cooler? Instead, do something useful, like this effing car seat." Again, no F-bomb, just Pam's way of accentuating. My buddy Rick and I got to work, and the Snap and Go was born. Again, all from Pam's inspiration and foresight. She supported us day and night, week after week, as we made prototypes and tried to sell our invention, while she and I were still working and raising Sam. It was a lot of work, but a magical time in our lives. A couple years later, Carly was born, and we realized we had no room for a newborn in our small 800 square foot, 2-bedroom apartment. So where was Carly's first home? The kitchen, of course. We were now a family of 4. The first Snap and Goes were in Target. Pam was teaching, and I was about to graduate. 10 days later, my dad passed away suddenly. Of course, it was Pam that insisted that we whisk Sam and 10-day-old Carly back to Chicago on the soonest flight, knowing that it would be okay. And it was. A couple years later, I graduated. And in Pam fashion,
Unprecedented in Stanford's 100-year history, she sent Sam and Carly off to run on stage as I got hooded. The crowd roared. Pam started teaching at the Stanford Children's Health Council as a parent educator. She told her classes about her dream of a parent participation outdoor preschool. It would be especially good for her now with her 1.5-year-old Talia, who was bouncing off the walls at indoor preschool. Her parents in the class loved the idea and said, "If you build it, we will come." And so Tiny Treks was born. She had over a dozen parent-child pairs come every week in that first year to a different destination. And despite the hurdles of later moving to Chicago, she kept it going, and it grew every year. Tiny Treks is now the largest of its kind in the Bay Area, with around 900 students strong, over 60 times the size of when she first started it in 1997. Back to California. Rebecca came in January 2000. She added beautiful chaos on top of chaos, which is what now defined our family from that day forward. But as our family grew, we watched many of our dear friends move away. And it just kept happening. As much as we loved the outdoor life and the friends that we still had, the transientness was not what we wanted. We decided to move back home to Chicago. We arrived in Deerfield in August, almost exactly 24 years ago. The cicadas were buzzing, and the air was thick and warm. We were home. Pam immediately started going around the neighborhood, finding playmates for all of our kids. But it was the hardest time in our lives. We still had one foot in California and one foot in Chicago. Until one day, we went for a walk right behind you around Maplewood Park and saw this beautiful empty lot for sale. Pam and I looked at each other and knew we had an answer. A beautiful outdoor space still in Chicago next to our friends and family that would not go away. This house is where we have raised our 4 kids, welcomed their friends like they are our own, had strangers living in our house just for the sake of giving them a great place to stay, spreading the love like no one else like Pam could ever do. We celebrated many things with our family and friends, new and old. She invented the soup swap because we just didn't have enough parties. Secret note, if it was really good soup, it would go immediately into the freezer for another party or time. Along with any tasty dessert before I got a second bite in. She was a culinary cryogenist. She loved all of our get-togethers because she loved being with you. She loved being with you guys so much, and especially all of our kids. We would revel in whatever they would do and help whenever we could in times of need. She had nothing but high confidence in all 4 of you as you grow and build your own lives and families. Fast forward to 2020, COVID. School was officially canceled, and our cousins, Christy and Stu, one of those families who have resided at this house for a few weeks, were in a panic. Their daughter, Della, was about to start kindergarten, but it was going to be online. Pam would have no part of that. Don't you worry, Christy and Stu. I will build a school for you with as many friends as you can gather. It will be the most memorable kindergarten ever for your kids and for their parents. Again, Pam said it could be done. Everyone believed it, and it happened. Today, 6 years later, those K-Potters are best friends, and so are their parents. We flourished here, made more friends than anyone I have ever seen. Or Pam made more friends than anyone I have ever seen. And there were no surface friends. I'm sure everyone here has a story of how they truly loved Pam and how Pam truly loved them. She never took the easy way. She took the best way. Sunrise Monday would have been so much easier as Sunset Monday. Especially for her night owl husband. But she insisted it was the best way to start off the week. And so, Sunrise Mondays was born, and it has changed my life for good. Her smile and laughter and giddiness and wisdom beyond belief has been indelible in my mind for over 40 years. She was my love, my lover, my playmate, my ski buddy, my hiking buddy, my social director, my parenting partner, my life. It is hard to imagine this being gone, but in reality, it will always be here. Just a couple days ago, I was lying in bed next to my love, holding hands, and as we did for all the days prior, knowing that at any moment I would enter a new phase of my life, the first time without her in 45 years. It takes me back to 35 years ago when we were holding hands bedside, helping her with her Lamaze breathing, knowing that at any moment we would enter a new phase together, our greatest chapter yet, parenthood. It is a crying shame that despite her unparalleled bravery, courage, strength, and resolve, this cruel disease has stripped her of her grandparenthood. But as she told me many times over the past 5 months, I will be the best papa ever, and it is all due to her. I promised her I would keep her legacy and beliefs going strong enough to carry through many generations to come. As the ultimate to make sure this happened, Pam, with the help of our very generous and brilliant neighbor Dan, made Grammy Pami stories. 39 of her favorite children's books on video, read by Grammy Pami herself. My interpretation of may her memory be for a blessing is that the memory of her in all of us is the blessing of keeping her alive. She has touched everyone here, and I know that you will keep her in your hearts for a long time. Recently, people have been asking me what they can do for me, and I have struggled to come up with an answer. But I actually have one big, selfish ask. When you think of Pam, please keep at least one little space there for me. So that I can continue to be with her and her with me for a long time to come. Pam and I wanted to make sure that we thank all the healthcare workers out there who gave your all. I will not give up fighting for you. I will not give up fighting for multiple myeloma, for a cure for my multiple myeloma. Thank you all for being here. We are greatly honored, and I consider myself the luckiest person in the world. But my condolences go out to all of you as well, as I know she impacted all of you. Todd is about to play a song called Blue, Red, and Gray. It was our song, and you are about to see why. Rest in peace, my love. May your memory be for a blessing.
seem so obsessed with the morning. Get up early just to watch the sunrise. Some people like it more when there's fire in the sky. Worship the sun when it's high. Some people go for those sultry evenings, sipping cocktails in the blue, red and gray. But I like every minute of every day. I like every second, so long as you are on my mind. Every moment has its special charm. It's alright when you're around, rain or shine. I know a crowd who only live after midnight. Their faces always seem so pale. And then there's friends of mine who must have sunlight. They say a suntan never fails. I know a man who works the night shift. He's lucky to get a job and some pay. And I like every minute of the day. And I dig every second. I can laugh in the snow and rain. I get a buzz from being cold and wet. The pleasure seems to balance out the pain. And so you see that I'm completely crazy. I even shun the south of France. People on the hill, they say I'm lazy. When they sleep, I sing and dance. Some people have to have the sultry evenings, cocktails in the blue, red and gray. But I like every minute of the day. And I like every minute of the day.
Yesterday, the family asked me if it was appropriate if we could do Debbie Friedman's Mesha Berach. If there's something special about Judaism is that we don't say no, especially when people are in need of healing, whether that be body or spirit. And if we learned something about Pam, especially for me yesterday and all of us this afternoon, that there's no doubt she had such remarkable empathy for so many people. And so if you are someone who's in need of healing or body or spirit, please allow these words to give you comfort and meaning as we process this day together.
The source of strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say Amen. Those in need of healing, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
If it is your tradition to rise for our Martyrs Kaddish, we invite you to do so. Yikadal v'ikadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'yomad divrach rotei v'amlich machutei. V'chayachon v'yomechon uvchei d'kol Beit Yisrael ba'agalau izman kariv v'imru. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach v'olam alamei omayah. Yiparach v'hishabach v'hipa'ar v'hitromam v'hitnaseh. V'itadar v'itala v'talal shemei d'kutsha. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiram v'yomah v'yamru. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yamru. Osei shalom b'imromav. Hu yasei shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yamru.
Osei shalom b'imromav. Hu yasei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
Come to you in the daytime. I will raise you from your sleep. I will kiss you in 4 places as I go running down your street. I will squeeze the life right out of you. You'll make me laugh and make me cry. Though we try to forget it, you will make me call your name as I shout it to the blue summer sky. And we may never meet again, so shed your skin and let's get started. And you will throw your arms around me. You will throw your arms around me. Daytime, and I have watched you in your sleep. I met you in high places, touched your head and touched your feet. And though I disappear from out of you, you know I will never say goodbye. And now I try to forget it. You will make me call your name as I shout it to the blue summer sky. And we may never meet again, so shed your skin and let's get started. And you will throw your arms around me. You will throw your arms around me. Shed your skin and let's get started. You throw your arms around me.
Our service here is concluded. Shiva will take place until 6 p.m. Friends and family are encouraged to remain outside, and again, they're welcome to bring their own families. Shiva will also take place Tuesday and Wednesday from 2 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Memorial contributions could be made to Worth. the Trek team page through the MMRF. That information is available on the folders that were distributed to you or on our website. In Pam's memory, everyone is invited to take one walk around the park. The family should know no more sorrow.